Hello, kind greetings. My name is Franklin. I'm part of our class, and I would like to introduce to you a meditation that I adapted early on from listening to different YouTube videos when I was trying to figure out what meditation was for myself. And I initially started with meditation about 1 minute a day, and that was what I could do. Because what I heard was that if I meditated for 90 days, no matter what the time period that I did, but as long as I did it every day for 90 days, that I'd probably do it for the rest of my life. And now I'm going on about 3 years of doing it a daily practice for myself. I also was listening to, we talk about it as letting go. And there was a different feature for me that I saw was really interesting, which was letting go as a part of inviting in and making friends with a difficult part of me. And I have many different difficult parts of myself especially when I was first meditating. And I've since come to find these places in myself as friends or a part of wholeness. What I found was when I invited things in and I introduced myself to that part of myself, and that part of myself introduces itself to me, we become aware. And then I reach out and I ask if it would like to become friends with me. And it says, yes, I'd like to become friends with you. And so let's be friends. And so we become friends. And then that part of me reaches out and says, I love you, that part, that difficult part that I brought in. And that part says back to me, I love you too, Franklin. And then I sit in the silence after that, and something happens. I'm not really, when I say something happens, there's something expansive in that silence. And while I lead you in this, I want you guys to all have your own experience with it. So I will leave off my experience. And if you want to talk to me more about this, I'm happy to do that. But when we do this together today, I want for you to choose something that is maybe a little lighter than, maybe there's something that you really have difficult time with, and like, oh, it sounds kind of scary to bring it in and make friends with it. I don't get this. So I invite you to bring something lighter in if you want to test it out and see what that might be like for you. Or bring in something, and if it's generalized like anxiety, and you want to call it anxiety, and that's something that for you is difficult, or anger is something that is difficult for you. And then when we do this, I call this part of myself kind Franklin, this little young part of me, gentle, kind, and loving part that does all of the welcoming in with these other parts of myself. So say I chose anxiety. Let's use this for an example. So I would say, I would let that come in, and I always imagine it like this, like it comes in through a little mail slot in my mind, and it just kind of settles in, and then a little warm light comes around us, and then I reach out. And every time that I do this, I also wanted to say this too. I don't use my imagination. I don't try to imagine what this thing looks like. I don't try to, think about like, oh, it's hard for me to say this or that to it. It's just a practical way of doing it. So it would be something like this. Like I would say, so it's anxiety. So I'm choosing anxiety as the example. So I say, hello, my name is Franklin. And anxiety just replies, hello, my name is anxiety. And then we say, good to meet you. Good to meet you. And then Franklin says, anxiety, would you like to be friends? And anxiety just says back, yes, Franklin, I would like to be friends. And we are friends. And there's this sort of process in this part here where we become a little bit more familiar with each other. And then because when you're friends, you're familiar and you have that rapport. And so then the next part, when Franklin says, anxiety, I love you. And anxiety says back, Franklin, I love you too. And we realize that we've always been whole together, and we have this integration process. And then we sit in the silence together. And it can be any duration of silence, but today we'll choose maybe a couple minutes. And I like to bring in also the breathing, the HRV breathing that we also have and we understand. And this is sort of the space for safety. Our breath is healing. And when we can inhale healing and we can exhale, noticing healing is all around us and always here. And our wholeness, we are friends with ourselves. And so this is some way that we show ourselves this. And this is also, I look at it also as I heal myself, I heal the world and I heal the universe. And we give that to all other people. So when Gaylong talked about that, I was like, yeah, I was like, that's it. And so I've integrated that into my process as well. But today we're going to do that welcoming. And so you'll hear as I'm doing it, I will say, I will introduce it as, you, which would be you, and you have your own you, and welcome in this difficult part, and you'll know what that is. And then I will guide us in that with that kind of language, so that when we get to there, it's not, you don't have to try to guess what are we doing. You know what you're doing with your own inner world. And so with that, maybe we let's start.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, okay, good. So with your eyes open or closed, however you like, in an upright position, comfortable, practicing all of the parts that we know, relaxing our eyes, getting ready for a meditation together. I'd like to welcome us all to this space, in this time, in this journey of togetherness, and this welcoming and the sharing of love and healing to the entire world and all beings and all creation. Let's take a gentle breath in, just a normal breath in, and release it. Just in the normal flow, taking a breath in and letting it go. Exhale, healing all around us, healing. And we'll do our normal breathing as we become familiar with our diaphragm again. And the practice as you come in and out of that space. Noticing the safety that you're in and the peace that you're in. And whatever might be here for you is okay. Because you're okay. And we're here together, doing this together. So I'd like for you to notice this space as you breathe, this gentle space that you're breathing into and out of. And I want you to invite this part that you maybe have already thought about as I was talking, and invite that part into your inner world. This part of you that's already a part of you, this difficult part, let it gently come and bring it into your awareness. Noticing that you're here in safety and healing. Let's take a breath together before we start. Just take a breath in to our bellies. Noticing that your healing is coming in through your breath. We exhale, healing all around us, healing letting go, healing, healing, healing. I'd like you to reach out to this part of you and to introduce yourself by saying, hello, my name is, to this part that you've chosen. And this part says back to you, hello, my name is, whatever this part is for you. And you say, hi, this part of me, good to meet you. And it says, hi, who you are, nice to meet you. And now we reach out to this part and say, would you like to be friends? And this part says, yes, you. I would like to be friends. And you say, then we are friends. And that part says, yes, we are friends. And you notice that you've always been part of each other. And now we reach out to this part of us and we say, hello, the name of this part, I love you. And this part of you says, I love you too, who you are. And you realize now that you've always been together. And now we'll sit in silence together, taking a breath in and releasing. I invite us back into this time and space. Thank you for this opportunity to be here together today to share healing, kindness, and love with all beings and all creation. And the healing in us is the healing within and the healing without. Thank you.
Well, that was wonderful, Franklin.